Hey fam, Dee here. Welcome back to Dee and Mr. T. If you're looking for some tried and true family favorite dinner ideas, you've come to the right spot. Today I'm sharing 4 family friendly dinner ideas that you can make at home for yourself or your family. All the ideas that I'm sharing are great for meal prepping if you're a meal prepper. They're also great as leftovers, which who doesn't love leftovers? So if you want to see those recipes, stay tuned. Before we go ahead and jump into the recipes, I'd love for you to subscribe if you're new and join the fam. I'll be sharing more food inspo like this on a regular basis because food is my happy place and I love sharing food with others. Most of you are watching from DEE and FAM, my other channel where I share Costco related videos. And food content is always a big ask. Everyone always wants more food content, and that's why I'm doing it here in a place where you can easily refer back to it and just get tunnel vision on what you need to grab when you're going shopping so that you can recreate a lot of these meals. They're super easy. So again, if you're new and you haven't subscribed, I'd love you to hit the subscribe button. It's gonna help my channel grow. And as you're watching the video, if you see a recipe or a meal idea that really stands out to you that you like, make sure you take some notes so you can recreate it and save this video for the future when you're ready to make it. So we're kicking off a week of dinners for my family of 4, and today I wanted to share one of my family's personal favorite recipes. It's our take on sausage and peppers, except since peppers cost so much money these days, I've decided to use frozen stir-fry veggies instead. It's gonna do the exact same thing, but offer more variety of vegetables in the mix. Normally for my traditional sausage and peppers, I do the hot Italian sausage from Costco, and then I do some bell peppers and some red onion. But today I wanted to make things a little bit more simpler and share something that we've actually made before, and I know my family absolutely loves this dish. So instead we're doing the frozen veggies. So here I have 7 hot Italian sausages. I know that sounds like a lot, and it really is a lot, but we love these hot Italian sausages, and I'm making enough for my family of 4 to have leftovers for the next day, because who doesn't love a leftover that you can heat up for lunch? I know I do, and I definitely want to have some of this as my leftovers for my lunch. I'll probably have it the next day with rice, but to keep things healthy, we're doing it with quinoa. So here's what we have. We got our 7 hot Italian sausages. I've got my oven preheated to 375. These are gonna go in there for about maybe 40 to 45 minutes. We'll see. I usually like to flip them halfway just to make sure that both sides get to have a little brown. And once these are mostly, if not fully cooked, then I slice them up into 4 pieces normally so that they're kind of bite-sized pieces, but not so small where I'm doing a lot of work slicing up. The name of the game here is quick, easy, and effortless. So I want to make sure that we keep it like that. So doing it like this just helps to make sure that all the juices get to stay inside. And then afterwards I can go ahead and cut it up and stir fry it with the veggies and have a great option for dinner. So this is a huge 2.5 kilogram bag of the Kirkland frozen stir fry veggies. They have mushrooms, snap peas, green peas, 2 kinds of carrots, water chestnuts, I think, broccoli, and who knows what else, but it's a lot of veggies. Peppers, obviously peppers. It's a lot of veggies, and we love this mix so much. These veggies are always fresh. They always taste amazing once you saute them from frozen, so that's another reason why I like to get them. They don't taste gross after. So normally for my family, this bag will be 3 separate meals. But because I'm doing a bigger batch of sausages, I'm actually going to do almost half of the bag. I know that sounds like a lot, but the one thing I want to tell you about frozen veggies is that once you cook them, they shrink up so much. And I really do want to make sure that we have enough veggies. So on the back it says broccoli, sugar snap peas, green beans, carrots, yellow carrots, mushrooms, peppers, water chestnuts, and onions. So this is great because I was planning on maybe adding an onion, but since onion's already in here, I won't have to do that. So this is gonna go in the oven, and then once that comes out and I slice it up, then I'll go ahead and start sauteing this in my huge stainless steel wok. Now I'm serving this with quinoa. So I have here my Kirkland quinoa. I'm just gonna put this in a pan or a pot and cook it with some chicken, better than bouillon. I just find that quinoa tastes better when you add this in it. So you can choose between veggie or whatever, but I just like to use the chicken one because it's just what I like to use. And then the secret here is the bachans. And this is what I use as my sauce. So this is like a sweet but savory sauce. And the reason why I like to pair this with a hot Italian sausage is because this sauce is a great mixture of salty but sweet. And it's just like, it just does something to this dish. So if you like sweet and spicy, if you like savory with a little sweet, you can choose whatever kind of sausages you want, but I honestly think the hot Italian sausages make this taste the best. You can do mild. If you can't handle the heat, that's totally fine. But the bachans is a non-negotiable. You can do any other mixture of things that you want in this recipe, but the bachans is the one thing that you need to stay the course with. You can switch up the kind of sausage you use. You can switch up the kind of veggies that you use. You don't have to do quinoa. You can do rice. You can do whatever, but the bachans is key. It's super important. That's gonna make it so I don't have to add any seasoning to this dish. And let me tell you, it'll be so flavorful. So let me go ahead and put this in the oven so we can get started with that. And then once this is maybe halfway done, I'll get started on the quinoa, and then I'll start prepping to saute the veggies and get the rest rolling. So let's get to it. One thing I really wanted to share about this dish is I'm making this on a day during the week when the kids have activities. So this is the perfect thing to make ahead of time. It heats up pretty easily, and it's just one of those things that when you're starving and it's the end of the night of a busy school day, this is the thing that you want to come home to because it tastes so good. And if you're cooking for less than 4 people, just change around the amount of things that you need in this recipe, but you can still pretty much follow it the same way. I absolutely love this one. It's a major mom win and a family crowd pleaser. Tonight for dinner, we're having steak bites, roasted potatoes, and mushrooms. So this is everything that we're gonna need and use. For the steaks, I have 4 sirloin steaks, so I'll just kind of cut them into cubes, maybe 4 pieces each. This is the biggest piece, so maybe this will be 5 pieces. And then all of these I'll cut into 4 cube-sized pieces. I'll go ahead and season them up with the keg steak seasoning and some avocado oil. And that'll be all I'll do with the steak, and I'll put it in the air fryer. On the other side of the air fryer, or I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do, but I have a few of these little mini potatoes and I wanna use them up. So what I'll do is I'll likely cut them into 4s. And what I'll do is I'll season them with avocado oil, but I'll also add some garlic powder. I'll add some fresh black pepper, some pink salt, and I'll add a little bit of paprika for a little more flavor. So I'll use those for the potatoes, again with some avocado oil. And then on the stove, what I'll also do is just saute up some bella mushrooms. I'll probably cut all these in half and just cook it up like that. Nothing fancy, just some steak and mushrooms with potatoes. To go with this, I'm also cooking some white rice. It's really not white rice, it's basmati rice, but it's basically a white rice. So that's gonna be dinner tonight. This is one of those nights when you want a fancy restaurant style meal, but you don't want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, and you also don't want to spend a lot of money going out to eat. So these are steaks that I got from my beef farmer. You can tell just by looking at them that they look a lot different in color compared to the ones that you get at Costco, but they're also thinner sliced than the ones that you get at Costco. Needless to say, the flavor is on 1,000. The flavor tastes so good. So yeah, these steaks, there's 4 of us, so I have 4 steaks. My husband will get the biggest one, but it doesn't matter because these are going to be cubed up anyways. And the potatoes, my husband and I will probably split these ourselves. The kids will most likely have the rice, but I'll give them a little potatoes just to have a little variety on their plate. And then everyone in the family likes to eat mushrooms. So that's what we're going to do for dinner tonight. Super quick, super easy. I'll show you what everything looks like once it's plated up. There isn't really much to this recipe, just slicing the meat, slicing the potatoes, slicing the mushrooms, and cooking it all up. By the way, I'll cook the mushrooms with some avocado oil and butter. And then I'll add garlic powder, black pepper, and pink salt for seasoning for the mushrooms. Again, doesn't get any easier than this, so let's get to it. Your dad's home. Yep. So I changed my mind on the potatoes. I'm gonna do these in the air fryer because the steak is too much to do in here. So we're gonna go ahead and do the steak on the stove. Let's do 15 minutes. And for the steak, I'm using avocado oil and butter as my base for my cast iron pan, and then I'll sear them up and do it to the doneness that we like, and add them in a plate for later. And then in the same pot with the same steak seasoning and juices, I'll also cook up the mushrooms to save myself on cleanup and dirtying more dishes than I need, which is why I ended up going this way. It's just too much steak for my air fryer. Ready to eat? Tonight for dinner, we're making some teriyaki salmon and also some baked chicken. We're gonna serve it with some steamed broccoli and also some cauliflower rice just to make it a light and healthier option for dinner tonight. So here I have 3 pieces of salmon. This is actually, well, my soy sauce bottle just popped because it came out of the fridge. That's crazy. Normally this would be 2 separate dinners, but because not everyone in my family likes to eat salmon, normally whenever I make salmon, I either make salmon and shrimp for those who don't like salmon. And tonight we're going to go with chicken because I already thought it out and I really want to use up this chicken because I have more chicken that I need to prep and get ready for future meals. So let me just walk you through how I'm going to do all of this. Right now I have 3 pieces of coho salmon. This is still frozen, so there's not much I can do with it until it thaws. I would like to have it be like a marinade, but I'm just gonna wait for this to thaw instead, and then I'll go ahead and season it and just bake it as is. For the salmon, to make the teriyaki salmon from scratch, I'm going to grate some fresh garlic. This adds really good flavor, so I'll probably use like 1 clove. I also have some organic ginger. Will it focus? There we go. I have some organic ginger. I'm going to grate this as well for extra flavor, and ginger is just like a fresh way to like just add more flavor and spice. Organic ginger is super spicy, so a little bit does go a really long way. I'll probably use all of this up in order to add it on top, and it's gonna be so flavorful. For the sauce, I have some cane sugar here in my large mason jar. Normally people use brown sugar, but I pretty much never use brown sugar. I'm always using the organic cane sugar or organic coconut sugar. I don't want to use a coconut sugar for this recipe, but that's also a great substitute if you want something healthier than cane sugar. Soy sauce is going to be a staple. I have a little bit left here in this bottle, so I'll probably make 1 good portion to brush on top of this, and then hopefully I can make a little bit of sauce to go on the side that I will then kind of warm up on the stove and then have so I can drizzle on top of the cauliflower rice and give it a little bit more flavor. I'm also going to add some crushed red pepper just to add a little bit more heat to the teriyaki salmon, but that's pretty much it for the salmon. Now for the cauliflower rice, I have 2 bags of frozen riced cauliflower. I'm just going to saute those in a pan that I will spray with avocado oil. I'll also spray the salmon with avocado oil before I go ahead and add the seasonings and stuff. So that oil is what I'll use for the cauliflower rice. I'm just going to steam this in my pot on the stove. I would like to put it in the sheet pan with the broccoli, but because some people don't like salmon, I figured I'll just steam the broccoli. It's just a way to make sure that everyone has broccoli and no one's saying, well, I don't want it because it tastes like salmon. So that's what I'm going to do with that. I'm just going to steam it, keep it super simple and easy. Here I have about 2, 4, 6, probably 8 or 9 chicken drumsticks. I have to clean this off. Then I will most likely pat it dry a little bit, spray it with some avocado oil, and then this is my seasoning mix of choice. It's just my go-to mix for whenever I'm doing any sort of meats. It keeps my life super simple. I know that all these flavors are gonna work really well together. So I have some onion powder, I have paprika, I have garlic powder, and I have pink salt and black pepper. So that's what I'll season the chicken with. I might also add just a little bit of crushed red pepper to add a little spice to it because this combo is not spicy at all, but my family, we can handle the heat. So I like to add similar flavors to everything that I'm making, and so I might just go ahead and add some of that to the chicken as well. So for the chicken, I'm gonna walk you through how I season it today because it's just gonna be super helpful. It's like foolproof all-purpose seasoning in my opinion. So I'll walk you through how I season that up, and I'll bake this in the oven on 375 for about maybe 45 minutes, and it'll be nice and, done, nice and just flavorful and almost crispy, but not quite. I'll also be baking the salmon in the oven as well, also on 375, but probably just for 15 minutes instead of the 45 minutes. So when this is in there for 30 minutes, I'll go ahead and add the salmon in so they both can finish at the same time. And once the salmon goes in the oven, I'll steam the broccoli then so that that finishes on the same time. And while everything is doing what they have to do at that point, I will then just go ahead and cook up the cauliflower. So everything will be prepped and ready. It's another activity night, so something simple, something that I can just know that later when we warm it up it's going to be good, is going to be the option. This is what I am making this day. So let me take you through the process. So I have my washed chicken. I've got my gloves on because things are gonna get messy. The first thing that I'm gonna do is spray it with some oil. Good amount of avocado oil. I don't know why I said olive oil. Olive oil works just the same, but I like to use avocado oil. So that's what I have there. I'm gonna start with some salt. And I'm just gonna put a good amount. I would say maybe a teaspoon of salt. You want this to have a lot of flavor. And this is going to marinate, so can't go wrong with a good serving of salt. I'm then gonna go in with some black pepper. I'm putting probably like half a teaspoon of black pepper on this. You don't have to put too much because I've opted to put the red pepper flakes. So I'll go ahead and add that now before I forget. Just gonna add a little bit. I mean, it kind of looks like a lot, but again, it's really not that much. Now we're gonna go in with the garlic powder. Maybe I'm using like half a teaspoon of that. I'm gonna use probably another half a teaspoon of onion powder. If you put a little bit extra, it's totally fine. I mean, it's your kitchen, do what you want. And then I'm probably putting like half a teaspoon of paprika as well. So it's really just the salt that has like the most ingredients. This is what it looks like once all the seasoning is on there. Let me show you another angle. This is what it looks like once all the seasoning is on there. Like, it just looks pretty seasoned. So now I'm just gonna go in with my gloved hand and mix it all together. This is why I like to wear gloves for this, because it does get pretty messy. And I don't know, I just feel like this is a better way to rub all the seasonings on your chicken. When you have gloves on, it just rubs better. Sometimes it just gets stuck on my hands, and then I feel like I'm washing off so much seasoning, it's all going to waste. Well, not all, but some, you know what I mean. So this is looking good, and oh my gosh, if you could just smell how good this smells. It smells amazing. So amazing. So what I'm gonna do is just cover this with plastic wrap. Ooh, I got a broken leg. I'm gonna cover this with plastic wrap, let it just kind of marinate in the fridge for about an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. The longer the better, honestly, but I kind of started this later in the day and I'm still waiting on that salmon to thaw. So I might put the salmon in water to help it thaw a little quicker, because I would like to at least marinate that for maybe 30 minutes so that I can have the flavor really like penetrate through. And that's that. So this is one of my favorite kitchen tools. It's a little scary to use because you can totally grate off your finger if you're not careful. But I'm just gonna grate until I feel like it's a safe place to stop. So I'm gonna do 2 cloves of garlic, and I'm starting to feel like it's a safe place to stop. I'm gonna go in with the other one. Just like to make sure that I have a really good grip on it, because if your finger slips, you're in deep poop. You're in deep trouble. Okay, so this is like my safe place to stop. So I have some ginger stuck on there, some garlic stuck on there. I just take the actual garlic and kind of scrape it off the best that I can. Now I'm going to go in with the ginger, which is equally as tricky, but grated ginger just hits the spot compared to chopped. And you can use ginger powder if you don't have fresh ginger. I always have fresh ginger because I store it in my freezer. We use it for smoothies and for recipes like this. So I'm starting to feel like I'm in my safe spot. Maybe I should stop, but there's a little bit more I feel like I can get. Okay. I feel like that's good. I don't need to add my fingertips to this marinade. I think I should be good with just this. Okay, so that's what that looks like so far. Now I'm gonna go in with some sugar, and I'm adding maybe like 2 teaspoons of sugar. I'm gonna go in and add a ton of the crushed red pepper. I'm also going to add a little bit of black pepper just because, and just a little pinch of pink salt. And then I'm going to add the soy sauce. So I have here half a cup altogether. Yeah, I've got half a cup of everything, and just mix it all together. Just a little mix. It looks good and it smells amazing. Teriyaki sauce is one of those easy things that you can make, and it's crazy that I used to buy teriyaki sauce, because honestly nothing tastes quite as good as the fresh stuff. And because I don't like to waste stuff, I'm just going to add those in there for extra flavor. It's not going to actually go onto anything that I make, but why waste it if you paid for it, right? So I'm just going to add that in there, and I'm going to set this to the side until the salmon is thawed. I'll put some in a separate bowl so I can brush it on without cross-contaminating, and then the extra sauce that's left behind I will just save so that I can simmer it and then use it as like a drizzle to pour over top of everything. Make sure that cauliflower rice has some flavor. And some of my kids don't like teriyaki sauce, so definitely want to make it an option that you can add on. But look at that. Isn't that like the easiest thing? And it looks and smells amazing. Love teriyaki sauce. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of sauce into this container. So when I'm brushing the salmon, just like I said, nothing gets cross-contaminated. Super easy. I'm gonna add maybe about half. I think half is good. I'll pour the extra that's left over on top of the salmon too. I'm gonna go in and spray the salmon pretty well. And then I'm just gonna brush the marinade on. Doesn't really brush that well once the oil is on there, but that's okay. That's why we're marinating it. This is gonna be so good. Super simple, but really flavorful. You can also put the oil into the marinade and then you don't have to spray it. You can just do everything at once, but I have avocado oil spray, so I put it to good use. And this is good enough for me. So what I'll do now is just try to evenly pour. It never pours quite evenly, but a girl can try, right? It's always good to try. And then I just try to go through it again, and we're good. I'm gonna cover this with plastic wrap, let this marinate for about an hour, and then we'll put it in the oven after the chicken is in there for a little bit.
You could eat probably 5 boxes of cereal at like this and this. What if it was Fruit Loops? This is not in the Zootopia book at all. This. None of this. None of that. None of these. History table. It's from you skate like you're back.
All right, so what did you think? I shared 4 simple, yummy, well-balanced meals in this video. If I had to rate them from favorite to least favorite, it would be so hard because they're all absolutely amazing. Hands down, my favorite recipe in this video is the teriyaki salmon because I completely forgot how much I love teriyaki salmon. It just hits the spot for me. I also really love the steak because I have expensive taste. But the sausage was really good as well. With the stir fry, it was just a much easier option. And then I think last would be the chicken. But the chicken, let me tell you, I thought we'd have leftovers of the chicken. And the kids ate all the chicken. I didn't get none. They had seconds. They had at least 4 drumsticks each on the night that I made the chicken. So if that doesn't say that that was amazing, I don't know what does. And same thing for the salmon. I only had 1 piece. My husband had 2 pieces of the salmon, which was crazy. Like, it's a lot of salmon, but he loved it that much. And honestly, it was my personal favorite too. The steak and the sausages though, those helped me to not have to cook the next day because it was such a big batch that I made that I had leftovers for 2 dinners, which was, oh my gosh, the biggest mom win when you make something one day and dinner's already taken care of for the next day. So if you're looking for something that you can make and have leftovers for multiple days, the steak and also the sausage meal is a great option for leftovers. But if you just want something where you can just keep eating and literally not get enough because it's just that good, the salmon and the chicken for the win, of course. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. And again, if you haven't yet subscribed yet, I'd love you to subscribe and join the fam. Stay tuned for more meal ideas like this. I'll be sharing them pretty regularly here on Dee and Mr. T. And with that being said, I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. T-Bone does have one complaint, and his complaint was that he didn't get to have any of the dinners that I made, but that's okay, right, mister? That's okay because I made you your own dinner. His tail is wagging like crazy. Did you like all the meals that I cooked in the kitchen, my sous chef? If you noticed throughout the video, his tail or ears were right next to me with anything that I was cooking because he has to inspect. He has to supervise. He has to make sure that it's done the right way. Isn't that right, handsome? Isn't that right, handsome? Look at that tail. Isn't that right, handsome? Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Oh, you holding my hand? You want more tummy rubs? Look at how giant his paws are. You have giant paws. Yes, you do. Ooh, and you have big teeth too. Yes, you do. Okay. All right. Bless you. T-Bone, look. I love you. T-Bone, I love you. T-Bone, I love you. Oh, wow. I love you. Can you smile? Can you smile? Can you smile for us?